Hey team, welcome back to Raw Spec. I'm heading over to HQ and I was having a bit of a think back on last year and we had quite the repair bill on quite a few cars. So today I'm going to run you through the cars that I broke in 2023. I'm going to start with the one that started it all, the MkII XR8 Ute. Now that one there, it arrived broken. From memory, it was some gasket, rear main seal, center bearing, front brakes, tires. There was a stud missing, but we got that all fixed and we had some fun out at Lakeside. Or so I thought. The transmission did a bit of a wee on the floor. But after a bit of inspection, it just seemed that some of the bolts on the pan were loose, and so I tightened them up and it stopped leaking. So we took her out to Willowbank, give her a run on the drag strip. And guess what? Afterwards, she did a wee again. But I found a couple of bolts had come loose again. So tightened them again, and I think that's sorted because they haven't had the problem come up again. And let's not forget the poor fog light.
Oh, yep.
But don't worry, that one was broken already. And then there's the GS. We had some fun out at Lakeside with this one too. After that, the back left wheel would sort of skip as you took off, and I thought I'd broken a control blade, but it actually turned out to be a center bearing on this one too. Fixed now, and she runs a dream. And then there's the MkII XR8. She didn't start the year well. She started throwing an engine light. And I was looking at the code, and my father, he's got a MkII XR8 as well. And it wasn't the same code, but it was similar enough. And all he changed was the solenoid wastegate, which I assume is for the turbos, but it probably controls the bypass valve on the supercharger. And so I changed that and drove it around for a few months because I wanted to drive it to Bathurst. And yeah, that fixed the problem. But then I drove it to Bathurst, and as I got to Goondiwindi, I put my foot on the clutch and the pedal felt really funny. And I'm like, nah, this isn't right. So I pulled over at a servo that was really close there, popped the bonnet, and the reservoir for the clutch was empty. So I thought, all right, we'll buy some fluid. Car's 9 years old, maybe it's never been looked at and it's been slowly dripping away. So topped it up and gave it a few pumps on the clutch pedal, and yeah, it all come good. But I thought I'd check underneath, and yep, it was going all the way, going straight out the bottom. Boo. Slave cylinder was broken. I drove it straight to Goondiwindi forward because they happened to be around the corner, and I left it there. Now this was the Wednesday before Bathurst, and so we needed to get there for race weekend. So we ended up going to the rental booth that they have in Goondiwindi. They don't actually have any rental agencies there, and pleaded with them to rent us a car. They couldn't because everything was done out of Toowoomba. So we had to plead the guys in Toowoomba, and they said they had nothing for us. And the guys in Goondiwindi, they were good enough. I think they heard our sob story. So they ended up talking to the guys in Toowoomba because they had a car that had just been returned that was going back to Toowoomba to get serviced. But we were going to bring it back the same day. So luckily they gave it to us. And luckily I had a mate with me because we had to drive it back to Brisbane to pick up another car and then back to Goondiwindi to drop it off again. It was going to cost a fortune to truck back from Goondiwindi, so it ended up getting fixed there and we went back for another weekend. Problem with the slave cylinder is it's internal to the transmission, so the whole gearbox had to come out to replace it, and because oil had gone everywhere, just preventatively we changed the clutch as well, even though there was nothing wrong with it. I've got to say, that was an expensive undertaking. Well, that's all the cars that I broke, but there are some honourable mentions. So there was the i30 N-Line, that was our family car. Now, I didn't break that one. Somebody else crashed into me and crashed into me hard enough to write it off. But I was driving at the time, so you can sort of add it onto the list. And then there was a camera that I lost. I got a little bit over-enthused on how it would stick down, and she fell off. She's looking a bit worse for wear now, but now that's my dedicated external camera. And then last but not least, the poor old Mustang. She subbed in for when we had to drive down to Bathurst after the XR8 let go. And yeah, it's a little bit low and the roads out there are a little bit bad, and yeah, the under tray took a couple of good hits. Luckily the splitter didn't hit, it was just the under tray, but I've seen guys take chunks out of those, so mine's just a little bit scratched. All right, so that's it. That's all the things we broke in 2023. Hopefully 2024 we don't break as much stuff, so we can spend our money on cool stuff instead of just repairing stuff. Everything's fixed now and ready to go, so we're going to be having lots of fun. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and remember, there's more to going fast than going fast. I'll catch you next time. Ciao.